the return of the King of Kings. Hark, the herald angels sing. 7 golden lights ring mortal combat to Scorpio's sting. It's my reflection and profession keeping them guessing, yesing and confessing and messing with perfection. Lost their blessing, keep testing and professing its possession. Questions? They don't understand it, I'll dismantle it and reassemble it. They can't handle it, John Wick strangle it and mangle it. Mr. Bojangle it, John B. Nimble, snatch a candlestick. Prophecy in tongues, there are greater ones. Gifts, son, it's just begun. Young guns running gun in the kingdom, they're done. Guess what else, son? I'm the anointed one. They babbling dumb. Hey, yo, good look, bruv, much love from above. They tried faking it, I'm taking it and staking it. Y'all gonna start breaking Ooh. Messiah. 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 It's John Woo. You already knew how we do. It's true too. I'm calling out you and your crew to prove what you can't do. We'll put you up against you know who and see what power runs through you. The chosen few. We already knew. John Wick, where you at, big cat? Come up here and show us that which you already knew. My speech seasoned with salt for the name I exalt. More lines drawn with the chalk on the sidewalk. Because of that bullshit they talk. They call me Jesus, they can't please us, appease us. He always sees us going after the new Caesar, crowd pleaser, the new sword keeper. Wake up the sleeper. Messiah. 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 John Wick, they all gonna learn for real. Joshua HaMashiach! Messiah!
Messiah. Yes, Messiah time. Messianic age. So, we're going to talk about that prophecy. So, how? Revealing things, right? How is this going to work? How is this Messiah is going to... So, let's first understand something first. Messiah, this... So, first up, it's going to blow people's minds, the reality of what we're saying. There's a creation here. People have been prophesying about an individual who's going to come from this line of David, this Messiah. This is a real thing that's been spoken about before his birth, long before his time. This Messiah is prophesied to come and save the world and bring the world into the Messianic age, the best age, the age of human growth. As we get through the tree of this first sin, as we start to get past the first sin, and we start to realize what's happening. So then you say, this is what he keeps telling me, take heart, I've already overcome the world. Right? Hear, O Israel, is a Shema, is a big part of Revelation. And that God's revenge, and that Israel can understand also that just as much as certain individuals have gone through Israel as a nation has suffered. They are a suffering servant, in fact, and the Messiah is in its way a child of he's the representation of Israel, and it's this suffering, and like I will suffer for God. That's Israel's perspective. We'll suffer for God. For God, we're in. We'll suffer for God. And that's Israel. And that's what they're about. And that's what they suffered. I mean, we got Holocaust. We got Egypt. We got things through their entire time. And this Messiah is supposed to say, he's going to come. And he's going to say, like, he's going to show Israel, hey, remember that promised land, this whole thing? Who's your Messiah? Who is he? The divinity? All this other stuff. You want to pay this Christianity thing that your Messiah did already? You're going to see he had a plan. He died for many nations. He paid for many nations. He paid for the sins of all of these individuals. Also, he knew them. He made them. These Christians that believed. So then what happens? What does that mean? All right, what does that mean? Here he comes. Look at him. Look at him. Take heart. Look at him there. He's coming. He's coming. Now that blue, let's look at it this way. Israel. Hear, O Israel. Okay, what this means and why it is in fact that Messiah, that one that we're looking for, Joshua HaMashiach. Let's go ahead and pop that bad boy there. See what happens, right? Because we know Israel's over here, right? Hold on. Where they at? Let's get them. Let's see if we can find Israel in this little. This group right here. Through Messiah. Because of Messiah. I can't even grab it anymore. Hold on. Are you playing with me? Alright, so either way, that little red dot down there, that's Israel. Well, guess what? Here's what happens with Messiah first. The first thing Messiah does. Kapow! A whole United States. King Messiah's here. King Jesus, rather, is back. And that all this blue, all these Christian nations that are Christian nations. Boom. 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 Let's make that one a little smaller. Israel, we paying attention here. This is what Messiah, how Messiah does it. And this is, he wants to show the world because it ain't nothing but a thing. It's already done. It's already done. It's already done. He saved them. They ain't going to hell. Right? They want to go. They want to go. They already know. See what's going on here. Hear, O Israel. Hear, O Israel. Hear, O Israel. Right. Hear, O Israel. Take heart, he says. He says, take heart. I have already overcome the world. I don't know if y'all heard me. Messiah knows what he's doing. Right? He told me God. He's God. He was God with us. And like I said, just because of this, the testimony of Jesus Christ, you're going to realize like why that's some real powerful stuff, and why grabbing that and being like, wait a second. Messiah was Jewish. He came, even though the Jewish people, and the Jewish people have faces themselves amongst other people, so they can understand. It's not a it's literally what God did. It's part of God's plan to save many nations, because as Caiaphas said that the Messiah would die for the nation of Israel. And then the next day or so, he even enhanced that in his prophecy and said Messiah would die for all the nations of the world. But guess what? Guess what? Caiaphas was prophesying, people. Caiaphas was prophesying Messiah did die for all the nations of the world. Now, this was their Jewish Sanhedrin that said that. The Pharisees. Caiaphas saying, Messiah's going to die for, and guess what? So, okay, accept that, right? That Caiaphas said that Messiah would, and he did. And so that's done. And because of that, and being here now, it's how it happens. Israel. Make no mistake, Israel will understand like it's still Israel, and that's what it's going to be. And all of these countries, starting with the big one that has claimed allyship and claimed to be an ally with Israel, an ally with Israel, that's going to happen. So you already know, Messiah back. He's King Jesus, right? That's who he is. Father and Son, Adam thing in a somewhat complicated way. But American, right? So this first thing, he's already set me in place, right? Everybody knows I'm an American. I'm American as fuck, right? But I'm also, Jewish clearly as fuck in the history and all this other stuff, in my life, my knowledge and understanding, my heritage, the genealogy, etc. So not only fulfilling all these prophecies, but also explaining like this is how that one world government comes, and this is what it's actually going to be. And it's going to be harsh in the beginning for the green section there. the green section, because and it's going to be fantastic that it's going to be resolved by the Jewish Messiah, which they know is the God of, and let's get him right. He's got to just walk. He's about right here. Let's bring him. Let's follow the route of this then. All right. Let's follow the route of Messiah and how this is going to work. All right. So Messiah. Let's just presume, for the sake of argument, let's just presume Messiah is right up here. Let's just presume that's where Messiah is at. Okay? That's going to change the size there. See, so here's the prophetic. Here's what happens and how Messiah becomes. How this whole thing happens, and we get into that world peace. All right, Messiah being there, being in Florida, and he is walking with God faithfully. He is activated by the Jewish people and Christians, but activated at this time that's expected. And this generational Messiah, this sleeper Messiah, as the Jews call him, and I can't wait to, when all this is confirmed, that this is prophecy by people who know, the story is going to be incredible. The Christians, the Jews, the entire world is going to be in kind of like awe, because it's going to be like, oh, snap, for the reality of what's transpiring. We have a book that is prophesied about an individual who would fit these very specific things, and he would be this king that God chose, and he's going to rule the world. Like, what? What? Right? That's an actual, right? Just like I say, we know that every morning we wake up, the sun's up. At a certain time, the sun goes down, or the earth rotates, which brings everything together perfectly, right? This thing that helps us understand day and night, right? We know that happens. That's cooked into this creation. Oxygen is cooked into this creation. It is baked in. We know it exists in what we live in a daily basis. Right, there is also, guess what else? There is this thing called prophecy. Like, people could get the tongue stuff and all that. That's what I'm saying. That's why God's got to be pissed, and Christians are they're gonna suffer certain things. God cannot be mocked, right? So you're gonna see, he's gonna say, when Messiah comes, you better. That's what he say. Are you gonna be ready when Messiah comes? Well, if you're lying about tongues, and Messiah shows up at your door, and you lie to him about your gift of tongues or your gift of prophecy, you sacrifice your soul. You understand? You sacrifice. You're before God, Ananias, right? You sacrifice. Messiah comes up and he says he already knows the truth. So because Messiah's here, right, as we know, and so that first thing that's going to happen, again, hear, O Israel, here's how it goes. And this is the start of unity, because you realize, wait a second, did Jesus really did the Messiah already did this, right? You get a lot of this stuff. He says it to me all the time. I already did it. That's what God says to me. He's Jesus, by the way. He says, I already did it. Take heart. I've already overcome the world. I already did it. It's already done. When the time comes and everything's right, boom, you're going to know, like, holy shit. When he said he died for many nations and he saved many nations, they know it's true. We know it's Christians know it's true. Caiaphas, the Jewish Pharisee, said that about the Messiah during the Second Temple period. That Messiah would die for the nation of Israel, and that Messiah would die also. His death would also be for many nations, for all the nations of the world. This is what Caiaphas, Christ's enemy, one of his enemies, said about, or he considered himself a rival, said about Messiah. So that happened. So when you see all these, you want to know how it's all well and good. Like I said, it's all well and good for me to just talk some mess about some stuff. Right? It's all well and good. Let's place him there, right? Because we know that's where he is. Let's go ahead. Is that a? See? Yeah, I figured he looks blotchy. Let's fix that up. So this is essentially the route. Messiah's here. This. Let's get a little closer on what. So for the kids, where Israel actually is, what we're dealing with here. Of what Israel currently is. Notice the red. Notice the red. This is what people don't realize is what this is, and all this Middle Eastern stuff, or the war in Gaza, the Gaza Strip, all this stuff that goes on in the Middle East. You can see that's Judaism, the red, and the rest surrounding. They are surrounded by their enemies. But that's kind of how David liked it, don't it? My enemies are to the left, they're surrounded all around me. Somebody's going to go out defeating their enemies all around, left and right. But like I said, just like Israel, is going to have this thing. So like I said, that little red dot, becomes the blue, all becomes, including that red dot, right? All becomes, it's really red, blue, whatever, but we like blue and white. My favorite colors, and that's the Jewish flag, which is wild, but makes sense to me now in these strange ways. So here's what we've got. Israel, if you want to take a look, and you can understand how it happens with Christianity becoming Israel, following their King Jesus, King Joshua HaMashiach, and knowing like this is the guy. Why? Because we're waiting for Israel to confirm it. Israel confirm it, and once Israel confirms it, then it's like, yo, what? And that's how it goes. Like I said in that previous, so Messiah's Florida, right? He's in the United States. He's activated this process of all that I had to go through first. The things that I had to go through first before understanding, right? Like it's documented. God wanted me to make sure that shit's documented so that people could see this is not made up, right? These experiences happened. These things happened, and they are correlating with names. They're correlating with multiple areas of of what Messiah is saying. And this sits also with a lot of, I presume there's even tons more of Jewish heritage here. But Israel, this is what it looks like. This is how Messiah does it. Like that. A few announcements like that. And that little red dot can understand. And like they understand. Like Messiah was here, but guess what? Like, don't worry about that, because you could see that had to be done for this. For this. Remove that event. Remove that Messiah came before the appointed time to save his son and Israel and all the world, and he said it. So it don't matter if we just tell him, like, you don't have to hide nothing. God will establish it. Right? God. Who we talk about Israel? What sets Israel apart from just about every other country in the world? They are the nation of God. You understand what I mean? Like the United States, we've got all these countries that we're like resisting, saying we don't want to get into the religious stuff. We separate. Israel's like, yo, it's about God. We're about God. God is our Father. We love God, and we worship God, and we serve God. And they talking about the one and only God. JHWH, that's his name. Shh. And you can see that followed with the Christians. So when Jews start to see what's going on with Christians, and then you say like, oh, this is well and good, but then you start to say, wait, the Messiah had actually planned for this. Because at this very moment, in an instant, through the Messiah, the Son of God, which he wants to do. And everybody, in an instant, Israel makes that announcement. Boop, 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 boop. Guess what, people? If any Messiah wanted to say, if anyone, he already knows. They already know. And that's what happens. And that's how this beginning, and then the whole world's like, this you can see that leaves kind of 1/3, according to Revelation, that leaves about 1/3 of the entire global population that kind of like skins up scattered and says like, no, even though we know this prophecy, God sets it up for them to say like, okay, so you're going to believe your prophecy because of this, that, even though all this other stuff, you take it, all this other stuff, okay, you take a big risk. And that's when that iron scepter and the whole world, because all the world is going to be, all those with the Star of Israel over them, the Star of David, all of those countries are going to experience incredible peace, incredible surplus, and that all that green and that those other areas, that 1/3 of the population that ultimately gets down to it, that we're like, you look, it's going to be like this in the beginning. The rest of the world becoming one with Israel, and Israel becoming the world, because this is the God's people, and we already know that. Christian nations, all of this already know it. Becoming one and being like, we are the nation of God. We become a new nation, but we are a nation following the rules of the Old Testament, the Torah, not like stringent stuff, but the understanding of God's law and what it does and how it helps, and what justice for the poor, taking care of the needy, eliminating them. And what I mean by eliminating is the poor, and they're raised up. They're raised up. People get houses. They get all this stuff. But this time, until the Messiah is there, you're still going to, like, it's going to be suffering until that happens. Until Messiah is revealed to the world. So what's going to happen? He's in America. Because he's an American, it's going to make it very easy. Just like for me, it's going to make it very easy for America to be like, fucking A, that's right. Jesus is an American. All right. He's Jewish. But they're going to be like, all right, he's over here in the Galilee of the Gentiles. And this is something that also the Jews are aware is a possibility. So they come look for, here he is. He's in Florida. So because of that, and he's got this very unique relationship with the United States, a relationship of patriotism and one nation under God and the Christian principles, the United States like just comes, we're in, let's go. Messianic age, yo, we're in, let's go. Because Messiah is literally going to eliminate poverty in the United States and bring about, like, in the United States, because this is a big scale. Israel's is a big scope thing where Messiah is just like, boom, guess what? It's done. I got all the answers, right? So it's done. Now you do this, you do this, you do this, change all that, boom. King Jesus, all right, what do you want for us to do, right? Yo, relax or whatever. We're working on quantum science. We got teleportation on the docket. We're going to be working on telepathy. We're going to be working on new things that come to my attention as possibilities, real possibilities of the human being. When to understand is these things. That's all a scientist or a theologian or anyone needs to see. When you see that something's possible, if you at one point, imagine this. If at one point, right, I said like this, I want my cup of coffee, and I went, oh, come on, and then this coffee like just floating around and shit, and then boom, it drops, and I could never replicate that again, or I couldn't do it again. How long do you think I'd spend my life trying to get that, to figure out how that happened? How did I levitate that? How did I use telekinesis? How did I move that thing? How did I do that? People dedicate their lives to these things because they were capable. They did something, right? So that's what I'm saying is going to happen with this Messianic age. The reason people, through God, you're going to realize there's more to this. Is the body not more than clothes? Yes. There's so much more in it. Are these things supposed to communicate with each other? Can they? Yes. How does that work? What does that seem like? What are you hearing on your end? Right? And this back and forth, like dealing with it on a serious level and like trying to replicate results on a positive, and saying like, look, instead of practicing these things as far as like trying to ascend to God, let's just go with God. Say, God, take me. Rapture, right? Going, walking faithfully with God and being taken. which is part of this ascension. God takes you. What does that mean? You're going down? No, you're going up. Right? We know Christ is right here, but you're going up. Right? So when you're taken by God, what does that mean? You're ascending. He's taking you up. Right? And so what happens to the human being? A lot of things: wisdom, intelligence, understanding, gifts beyond understanding, gifts beyond understanding. And this is just scratching the surface. I mean, we already know that we are going through times where scientists are investigating and know the reality of teleportation. Now, we also know that Christ walked through a door, walked on water, was capable of all sorts of things just to let us know, hey, he was a man with divinity, but also that divinity was because of his relationship with God, right? That's what makes things divine, is their relationship with God, right? That relationship with God is what provides the fact that he speaks to God in this very unique way, and God speaks back to him in this very unique way, aside from just standard prayer, but more personally and like friendly and friends and father son in this thing. There is this divinity associated with even that experience to separate things, and why God does this with the Son. But like I said, the truth is, and people can say, you just want to see, he doesn't care. He says, like, it doesn't matter. He's telling, hear, O Israel, your God, right? He's trying to tell them they're going to have to get in line, right? That's what ends up happening with this harshness. If they don't have the name of our God, the God of Israel, Abraham, Isaac, and Israel, right, Jacob, if they don't have the name of our God behind their head, they don't know. They don't got the wheat in here, right? Remember, they were fighting over the body of Moses, too. That was before Christ. If they don't have that in their head, and they're not able to talk about God at all, or they don't understand the God of Israel, get ready, Israel. That's this Messiah stuff that Revelation is going to bring it all in, that testimony of Jesus Christ, and the part of these details in the prophecy that the Jewish people can grab the book of Revelation and be like, all right, Adam and Eve, let's look like, oh, wait a second, they got somebody, God put a puzzle in here for us too. And that's what this book of Revelation, that's why he's also shown, like, God reveals stuff to people. That's powerful enough in itself. To be able to see, like, God saying, he's just giving me little glimpses, and he wants me to let Israel know. That's how it happens. United States first, and then Europe. And then just the other ones just are all, but the United States first, because Israel announces Messiah, their prophesied Messiah. We found him. He's in the United States. He's over here. We're talking to him or whatever, and they're going to explain, right? Somebody's going to say he fulfills all our prophecy, and in fact, he also Christians. As you know, Jewish Messiah, he has the spirit of Adam, which was Jesus, within him, and a lot more makes sense now that he's here for us. We're putting together a comprehensive what we know about prophecy and what we don't know about prophecy, so that we can be prepared. Because if in fact, and the world's going to say, if in fact this prophecy from thousands, from the beginning of what we know about Messiah, right? Messiah will strike the head of the serpent and the serpent's offspring. He will end evil. What we know from the ancient text of this fucking guy, this from the line of David, who's got a noble heart, he's pure, he's all of these things. He's the last good fucking guy, real guy. He's like every David, son of man, son of God, this guy, and we need to take, like, we're going to look at this, we're going to take a look, and he himself is going to say, putting myself in your shoes as a man, I'd say I want to take a look too, and that's what I'm trying to do also, because Messiah's that way. He wants all the hidden things to be revealed. What is this like? How did this happen? What is it like when God talks to you? Do you hear him? Do you see him? What is it like? Because once we identify that this individual is in fact prophesied from, what does that mean? That you're written about this individual. I want you to understand the scope of what, and Christians have lost this already, the scope of what that means, which is why you can also understand, like, there's no doubt, prophecy written about, and specifically about an individual. These events, we got prophecies that prophesied in Daniel, prophesied in these Old Testament that have come true. So we already know prophecy works, but it was prophesied about and then it happened. So we can confirm that it happens. We can confirm that it was prophesied about potentially, but there's certain things that we can't confirm. Now what happens? Well, first off, we have an individual that was prophet like that in itself. Everybody's talking about, oh, we're going to do all this. So let's first stop that and say that the acknowledgement and the understanding of God, the best way to understand what is happening as a human being when you get down to it is imagine all of creation from the beginning of time. Somewhere along the way, some human being started writing some stuff down, claimed to be prophecy, information that was from God, divine inspiration, and the things that this person spoke and wrote down came to pass. Not all, but certain individuals. What is that? Okay, sounds like magic, right? Sounds like the precogs. It's in Minority Report. Sounds like some stuff that's science fiction from a movie, right? But you get to the point that that's real. A lot of people have not gotten to the point because that's real because they haven't read anything. They don't have the full picture. That's why the more intelligent people start to become, the more Christian they become, right? C.S. Lewis, Lew Wallace, right? These similarities you name, these individuals that, as Jordan Peterson, many individuals, as they go into more intellect or they delve into their mind into these things, they find that there's more here. Wait a second, what is this about? This is a plan. So just the very fact that this Messiah comes on the scene and everybody's like, what? Right? Imagine being an atheist. We got all the Christians. Imagine being an atheist. Right? Imagine being a universist. Right? Oh, the universe will take care of it. Or agnostic. I don't believe in God. Or imagine being that. Imagine being that, and then you hear about this. This is like some what? Wait, what? What? Wait, I was born from this family lineage, right? That was prophesied to be born of, and like we knew he was going to come from this lineage, but he was activated. He's the king anointed by God. He starts to reveal the mark of the beast, shit that did people in. All this stuff starts to fucking happen. Adam and Eve, and this guy. Now all the Christians, everybody, like they're gonna know it's time, right? Boop 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 boop. I've already Hear, O Israel, our God is one. Our God is the Lord Yahweh. I have no other God before him. We will love the Lord our God with our whole heart, mind, soul, life, with all that we do and all that we are. And how do we love him? Get into his word, right? But keep his commandments. People really keep his law, keep his instruction, keep his stuff in your hand so that they see the back of your hand and in your mind. Get into God's word is him speaking to us. Right? How do you get his commandments in there? Keep his commands, keep his word. Guess what Israel did? Guess what Israel did? They kept that. They kept that for years. They kept that all through time, and thank God. So now we got a sense. Thank God for this messianic understanding that we understand. But when we start to understand and say, like, with the gift of prophecy being real, with this prophetic thing happening in real life and stuff, people say, let's get that. Let's get as much prophecy as we can. Let's get as much prophecy as we can and lay out as much as we got until, right? And then let's just trust it and be like, okay, let's see. We know we got prophecy, right? Somebody says something bad's going to happen, or else, we're going to listen, right? We're going to get into this understanding of like the human being. What does it mean when a prophet starts prophesying? People should, right? What is it? It's a real thing. It's a real thing. So we're going to bring this back up. And this is because Messiah likes to show what he's going to do and how it's going to work. So, like I said, here's what we got. Let's just bring Messiah in. We know he's over there, but let's hide him on that for a minute. And let's bring him in. I got him there. That's a little bit more. That's just a straight density map. And that you can see that matches the whole thing. Now, that's like I said, in an instant. Hold on, that's not what I want. Where's my walking thing? In an instant, let me try this, hold on. As far as God's revealed it to me, and you can choose, are there prophets or they're not prophets? Is J.J. Dubs a prophet or not? And if you think, and you'd go so far as to say you have the gift of tongues, right? So let's take this little guy on a walk. So where's he starting? He's starting over here. He's starting over here. That guy. He's starting over there. And that's where it's kind of like, so then what happens is Israel, this right down here. All right, let's follow. We're going to go through the whole process here of how it works. So if they want to see the strategy and why God has done it in this very specific way. Pop those off. Let's get those off. So Messiah's over here. So Israel is here, and they are going to send individual groups to convert, to have a conversation with Messiah, and to go through some confirmation and things like that. Conversation. Once it's done and the prophecy is fulfilled in the way that they're satisfied, Messiah, being an actual American hero, and Israel, and believe me, also all of North America is going to, because the Christian population is far greater than you realize, then that's going to happen right over there. So suddenly, and once that and that, meanwhile, we're going to get that, and that is going to become that. All right, and then, of course, super quickly thereafter, Kapauza. And like, these are just, he's just showing off, God. That's just Jesus just showing off and saying, like, look, Israel, hello. Israel. Hear, O Israel. This. From this. Right? So understand that blue. That blue. So ultimately, you gotta stay over here for a little bit to work with this, while in fact there's going to be representatives here, and then this little area is going to still be there, but the understanding of the prophecy is going to become far more apparent and clear to Israel through the Messiah, and saying like, okay, and then like I said, this happens, boom, 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 and then we got a third of the nation, a third of the world that gets the nations, these nations, to smash these nations to pieces like pottery with that iron scepter. And like, it's going to be straight up, because you know Messiah's going to handle it right. He's going to say, look, those who do not have the mark of the beast, who do not worship the God of Israel, the God of Joshua HaMashiach through his son, right? Those who do not have understanding of it, those who do not do these things, right? That's how it goes. That's prophecy. That's what the prophecy is about. That prophecy in Revelation, Israel, this is what the prophecy in Revelation is about. This is what it prophesies, how it happens, and how Messiah does what he's going to do. It explains a little bit more in detail through, and it's the testimony of Jesus Christ that he wants you to get, like, hey, Messiah was here, did what he did, right? That was part of being his Messiah stuff. and that Messiah's divinity, and that he's here, he's God, lives with us, and this whole wild experience that Messiah is going to share with everybody, this godly thing that's undeniably because of God's relationship to me. So this is how it goes, and then this, like I said, you would like to think that the rest of this stuff all turns blue, just because of the messianic prophecy, but I think that is there because he wants to prove correct the Bible's interpretation and correct, and that in fact there was a false prophet, which happens, that was running his prophecies off of the prophecies of the Jews, Christians. But that's okay. That third of the nation gets dashed to pieces like pottery. That's at least a prophecy. Like, as far as I'd say, you'd imagine a strategy of it. At least it's that, oh, we're going to go ahead and work with these individuals. We're going to try to bring them over because now we know, because the prophecy being fulfilled, all of this stuff confirms in a magical way, right? In a supernatural way, this gift of prophecy, what it means that we have something prophetic happening right before our eyes, something prophesied about. What does that mean? And what is this prophesied about? What do we really expect the world to believe? Yes, they already do. Israel, one more time, will you let me know? Messiah is saying, you let me know. And this is where the stuff happens. That's what it's going to be. Israel. All Christianity becomes Israel. They were already not, but under Messiah. That's the unity, the big thing, right? Israel's Messiah. All of this, your Messiah, the Messiah of Israel. The Messiah he's of Israel, right? Of Judah, of Bethlehem, Ephraim. And this very interesting thing that Messiah is doing and explaining this wild stuff that I'm like, yo, this is coming from God, and everybody's going to know it's coming from God. Like, he's putting it in here. This stuff, this is how it goes. He just showed me. And then that looks to me like that's that third of the population that's left that gets all sorts of problems and stuff like that. And there's going to be a lot of infighting amongst them. There's going to be there's going to be time given to them shortly because they're going to be powerless, and they know it. When that happens, it's just going to be eating lunch. We're going to be like, there's going to be world hunger will be solved. Everything's going to be gone. All of these nations working together under God, the God of Israel, love, right? Like this whole thing, all these nations. This is love that literally conquered all these. The love of the Messiah for the entire world to save people, to save human beings by the acceptance of his Son, right? To establish also that the Messiah is the Son of God, and that this whole thing in an instant, right? Like to show, he's going to show, like, look, Israel, look what you happy now? How do you like me now that I can dance? Do you love me now that I can dance? Do you love me now that I can dance? Israel. And that's real. That's how Jesus feels about Israel. You know, it's like I feel his children who have kept his word and have kept his law, his instructions, his writings, his prophecies. It's incredible. That's how Jesus feels about Israel. And that's what he's going to do. He'll be like, yo, did I do it? Did I do what I said? Saved many nations, saved many, brought many people to the God of Israel, of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Why? Well, I just look at how much he's saying. Look, he got you right to the brink. I'm telling you, people, that you want to know what Israel is right now. I'm gonna show you that again. That little red. You see that little red? All the green is Islam. So if you guys, everybody who supports Islam, let's take a look at what's really going on here. And you tell me if you don't. Now, this is a nation that they didn't even have a nation. They didn't have that until the United States made sure that they got that in 1946, May 15th, 1946 or 48 something. That's all, and that whole green section around them, dense with Islam, who are their religious enemies, their religious rivals. What are they doing? They're attacking that little red. They run into that little red area there. They're making that an area of contention. And in fact, the temple in Jerusalem, they have not given them. They would not give that to them even. Once again, Look at that green. There's nations of Islam that are Islam all around Israel. And they're attacking that little thing. And people they're going to, Israel, you tell me when. Israel, I'm waiting. Right? He's trying to tell you, you see all that I'm saying? Take a look again. All that blue is good. It blue already in advance for you. Just like that. In the blink of an eye. All of Christianity, this is it. You understand Joshua HaMashiach. Understand what he did. Why Messiah paid these price. Why would Messiah have to die to do all the why? Why did he do all this? Hello. Why did he do? Hello. What did he do? This is what God showed me. Right? So you hear what I'm saying. Why would Messiah die? Why? Christianity. What is Christianity? Judaism 2.0. Right? It's just that that's that testimony of Jesus Christ. And that he's going to be like, yo, it doesn't even matter that we kept it separate like this because it's intended. And he's going to be like, yo, here it is. They're going to see it. Messiah came, died, did all this back then. He did all this for us still. Meet you at the end, Israel. His son also, his child Israel. He's going to make sure. He's going to be like, yo. And Israel's going to be like, Messiah. Messiah. How's he going to do it? How long is it going to take? That Messiah's going to rule the world with love. Right? That little area there, that green, like I said, is Islam. And that's the area that he's saying that seems like this percentage of the population, Messiah is going to get this weapon. And that area, he's going to be given plenty of time to repent. The whole world and everybody's going to be like, yo, we know it's true. It can't be denied. And it's going to be the stupidity of doing evil that you're going to see. The stupidity of being wrong. That pride thing that's going to happen. And like I'm explaining how this goes, that's how the prophecy goes. That's the start of the one world government is Israel. And it's not a government. It's a monarchy. A monarchy with a good, noble king that makes sure the people eat, that takes care of everybody appropriately, and not to buy and just be like, yo, he genuinely cares. He genuinely cares for his people, and everybody that becomes Israel are the king's, this Messiah's children to him. And that's important because Messiah makes it very important that he cares about his children. He got to do what he's going to do for his children. Even if I got to meet him at the end and go through all this shit, I already know what I got to go through, and I'll do it for Israel. So that's how it goes in an instant. The process is, and I'm prophesying right now, Israel knows that without question they have all these additional things from Messianic prophecy. Messiah has been activated by Israel. He's an American Jew, as they also kind of had some indication that that is in fact a possibility, and that he's over in the Galilee of the Gentiles. They've already got some understanding of this. They're watching. They've got eyes already waiting for specific catalysts. But this is how, in a very quick sequence of events, the whole world changes. You see that? Right? All of Christianity, of course, says, who is Christianity's king? The Messiah, Christ. Right? And that's just how it is. He's their king. And they know it. And once Israel confirms it, all of this starts to come to completion. All the prophecies. And that's us under the Star of David. And like Revelation seems to be God, right, saying to the rest of the world. Christians too. Anyone that denies what's going on and the power of God, denies the power of God, and does not have the name, and they got some other name back there. They got another name back there. They got a name. You don't got to know. You put the Son's name in there, you're all right. Because the Son, the Father is exalted through the Son, and that's why it makes the Son having a name, makes it significant that if you've got that, you're good. And the Shema, love God, right? That's what he's highlighting in Revelation also. This mentality of what you're supposed to be doing with that. So, how does this world, that's how it goes. I'm just prophesying again, but let me explain. That's how it goes. First thing that happens is Israel acknowledges the Messiah. up here in the hold on. Let's get him out of there. Yeah. Israel acknowledges the Messiah, understanding what happened and that he was Jesus, right? But this was Messiah's plan because Messiah is divine and has come up with a divine plan with God, like not just a plan of like, oh, we're going to move it. No, when the time's right, do not exploit a strategic advantage just because it presents itself. Wait till the moment of maximum impact. Here I am. You say when, Israel. Say when, right? Like I said, this is what happens. Boom, boop, boop, boop. Rapid succession. And the whole world starts to become blessed. We start to really focus on other things as we realize, and your Messiah seems to, all that green is going to be smashed, with the exception of that little red dot in there. And then that whole green area is going to be, I mean, it's all going to be blue. The whole world's going to be blue. We're going to turn the whole world blue. And that blue is, it's Israel and their king, right? And Israel is, as you say, the Messiah, that he's anointed by God. What is that like? It's like this. So, like he said, he wants to hero Israel. Well, he's telling me to tell you guys, just like he's told us Christians, take heart. He's already overcome the world. No joke. If you knew, and I'm trying to tell you. Let me tell you about Jesus, right? He's a conqueror. He said, take heart. I have already overcome
Wake up the
world.
sleeper.
He
Messiah. 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 John Wick, they all gonna learn for real. Joshua HaMashiach.